Have you ever sat quietly one afternoon, listening to the wind softly passing through the trees outside your window, and suddenly felt your heart grow still? Have you ever looked at an old photograph, seen that young face that used to be you, and smiled, both fondly and knowingly? Life feels like a long train ride, and the further we go, the more we understand. At this age, I no longer race with anyone. I no longer worry about what people think of me. I just want peaceful days, a warm cup of tea, an old song, and a few friends who still call to check in. When we are young, we live to be recognized. After 60, we live to be at peace. And perhaps that is what truly matters. If you have ever felt that gentle calm mixed with a hint of nostalgia, then maybe today's story is meant for you. Stay with me for a few minutes as we look back together at the things that, after 60, no longer matter as much as we once thought they did. And if this story touches your heart, do not forget to subscribe so we can meet again every week for warm conversations like this one. I still remember, back in my 40s and 50s, I was living in an invisible race. Those were the years I kept trying to prove that I was still young, still strong, still valuable. I worked longer hours, took on extra projects, even studied new things I was not truly interested in, just to feel like I was not being left behind. I used to think that as long as I kept moving forward, people would admire me, respect me, and I would be happy. But then, when I turned 60, I looked around. Many of the people I once tried to surpass were no longer in my life. Some dear friends had passed away, others had moved to different places. What was left were only faint memories. I began to realize that for years I had been chasing something I never really understood. I used to fear getting old, slowing down, being seen as less important. But the more I feared it, the more exhausted I felt. Then one day, my daughter called and said, "Dad, I really miss your laugh. You have not laughed much lately." That one sentence left me quiet for a long time. She was right. How long had it been since I last laughed from the heart? Since I last felt light and free? I remember visiting an old friend back in my hometown once. He lived in a small house, nothing fancy, with a garden and a few birds he cared for. That morning, he made me a cup of coffee, and we sat on the porch, sipping and chatting. I asked him, "Do you ever get bored? Living alone like this, do you not feel lonely?" He smiled and said, "I used to have more than I do now, but I was lonelier then." Those words stayed with me. It turns out many times in life we do not need to have more. We just need a little less. Less worry, less comparison, less caring about what we cannot control. I realized that for so many years I kept trying to be recognized, to prove that I still had value. But after 60, the greatest value is being able to live true to yourself. No more proving, no more explaining. Then I understood that some things that once caused us pain are not worth the sadness after all. When I was young, I once held a grudge against my best friend for 10 years because of a misunderstanding. I always thought I was right, that he should be the one to apologize. But when he passed away, I realized no one ever wins in an argument born of pride. I sat at his funeral, looking at his picture, and tears just fell. All those years, I had wasted them holding on to an empty sense of pride. Anger, in the end, only makes us lonelier. Forgiveness is not always because the other person deserves it, but because we deserve peace. At this age, I have learned to forgive faster, forget easier, and love deeper. I no longer want to keep heavy things in my heart, because I understand that the time I've left is meant for lighter, more beautiful things. One morning, I was walking through the park and saw an elderly couple holding hands, walking slowly together. The man was talking, the woman was smiling, her face gentle and kind. I looked at them and thought, do they still care what others think of them? Probably not, because once you have gone through enough loss, you realize the most precious thing is the people who are still here with you. After 60, you do not need the whole world to love you. Just a few who truly do. I used to think happiness meant having a big house, a nice car, and enough money to last a lifetime. But now I realize happiness is simply waking up without pain, hearing the birds outside the window, brewing a cup of coffee just the way you like it, and having someone ask, "Did you sleep well last night?" Happiness is not far away. It has always been in the simple things. We just could not see it when we were too busy chasing something else. After 60, I began to slow down. I spend my time reading, listening to music, planting trees. Every time I see a seed sprout, I see myself in it. Once fragile and small, but still trying to reach for the light. Life, at any age, still has lessons to teach us. We just see them differently. And I came to realize the things that no longer matter after 60 do not lose their value. We just outgrow our fears. It no longer matters who likes us or who does not. It no longer matters who won old arguments. It no longer matters whether others see us as successful or not. The only thing that matters is whether our soul is still at peace. I once read somewhere, when you learn to stay silent in front of nonsense, that is when you have truly grown up. And it is true. After 60, we no longer need praise or recognition. Just sitting quietly one afternoon, listening to the rain, can already feel enough. If life is like a river, then after 60, we no longer want to swim against the current. We let the water carry us, gently, peacefully, not because we are weaker, but because we have learned that strength is not always about resistance. Sometimes wisdom lies in knowing when to flow with life, like a calm morning lake. The stiller it is, the clearer it reflects. The calmer the heart, the brighter the soul. The things that once worried us, fame, money, status, are now just small waves, rising and fading. Peace is the final shore we all seek. When we stop counting years and start counting joyful moments, that is when we are truly alive. I remember my grandson once asked me, "Grandpa, what do you think matters most after 60? I smiled and said, "Not caring too much." He widened his eyes. "Not caring about what?" I told him, "Not caring what people think, not caring what people say, not caring whether you have more or less than others, only caring about whether today you felt joy, felt healthy, and loved someone with all your heart." He stayed quiet for a while, then nodded. I thought to myself, if I had learned that earlier, maybe I would have lived more lightly for many years. But that is all right. Everything comes at the right time. After 60, we no longer fear being alone, because we understand that loneliness is not about being without people, but about not feeling peace within ourselves. When you learn to be alone without feeling sad, that is when you are truly free. I like sitting alone on the porch, listening to the wind, closing my eyes, feeling each breath. Sometimes I remember those who have passed away, but it no longer feels painful. I smile, knowing that even though they are gone, love remains. And that is enough to warm the heart. 60, 70, 80. These are the years we live to enjoy what we have sown. When we were young, we lived to achieve. Now, we live to appreciate. It no longer matters how much we hold in our hands, but whether we still feel grateful each morning we wake up. Because one day, we will all leave this world, leaving everything behind. The only thing we take with us is whether our hearts are at peace. In the end, we do not need to be perfect to find peace. We just need to learn to love ourselves and forgive what cannot be changed. Say thank you to yourself for all the years you have tried. Smile at the mirror, even if your hair has turned gray and your skin has wrinkled, because those are the marks of a life well lived. And if someone asks me what no longer matters after 60, I would say, almost everything. But what still does is whether your heart still knows how to love, how to feel, and how to smile in a quiet afternoon breeze. Because when your heart is at peace, life itself becomes peaceful.